Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Ortlieb. I just wanted to give you a few notes on the menstrual cycle. Today's assignment on Castle Learning, you'll see there are 20 questions, but before you answer the questions, I'd like you to look at this video. You can also refer to the link that takes you to Kids Health, and you can read about the menstrual cycle, and there's a short animation if you go all the way to the bottom, okay? So since we've been talking about reproduction, the menstrual cycle is very important because this is a process that's necessary in order for a woman to become sexually mature, which means that she's able to become pregnant. Happens around between 8, sometimes as young as 8, and as late as 15. Okay, the average age is about 13. And it is a cycle. It happens every month. And it's separated into stages, as you can see in the picture. The stages are on the bottom, okay? It lasts about 28 days. This can vary from female to female. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer, but it's about a month long, okay? And this diagram just lets you know what's involved in the process. So on the top, you'll see that there are a number of hormones that control the female reproductive cycle. One of them is called FSH, it's called follicle stimulating hormone. The other one is called LH, which is called luteinizing hormone. These two both come from the pituitary gland. We talked about the pituitary gland when we learned about the endocrine system. It's a gland in the brain, okay? The other two, which are called estrogen and progesterone, these are released by the ovaries, okay? And they regulate the cycle. And you can see that they go up and down throughout a woman's menstrual cycle. So they really cause a lot of changes. They really are causing most changes within the ovary, okay? And they're also causing a lot of changes in the uterine lining. Now, the uterine lining is the tissue that builds up inside a woman's uterus. So a lot of blood vessels and tissues are found here, especially in preparation for pregnancy, because the fertilized egg needs somewhere soft and cushy to basically embed itself in. So this is the lining that they're talking about when they say uterine lining. It's found within the uterus, all right? Now, just a summary of this, if we start on day 2, whether you're here or over here, the first day that marks the menstrual cycle is the first day of a woman's period. And you'll notice that the lining is basically short or low, because what's happening is this uterine lining is being shed. It's coming out through the vagina. All the blood and tissue that had built up throughout the cycle is being released through the vagina, through menstruation, okay? So menstruation lasts about 2 to 5 days. So we're all the way over here, okay? And then what will happen is the woman's uterus receives some messages from hormones. You'll see some hormones starting to increase, like estrogen, okay? And that starts to prepare the uterus to build up its tissue and blood again in preparation for possible pregnancy. So you can see it's starting to build up, okay, through the following days here. Also, there are changes that are happening in the ovary. Now, the ovary is where you'll find some of the eggs that are not yet mature. And so another thing that happens is the egg will start to mature until one of them is ready to be released. Now, that's actually the third stage. So that was the follicle stage when it starts to mature. The third stage is called ovulation. Now, that's one particular day, and it's about halfway through the cycle. It happens, if you have a 28-day cycle, it happens 14 days into your cycle, okay? So this is when an egg is actually released from the ovary, and it will go into that oviduct or fallopian tube. And if there is a sperm in the woman's reproductive system, they will meet right here in the oviduct or the fallopian tube, and that egg gets fertilized, and a woman can become pregnant. So this is a time when a woman is most fertile, most able to become pregnant because that egg has been released and is in the fallopian tube. Now, you'll notice that there's one hormone that really peaks right before ovulation, and if you go up, you'll see that that hormone is called LH. That is what causes that egg to be released from the ovary, okay? And once it's released, it goes back down. Now, if there is a sperm and it does fertilize the egg, the uterus has to be ready to receive that fertilized egg and provide a nice home right in the uterus where it can develop. And so you'll notice that the uterine lining gets really, really thick in the next stage. It's called the corpus luteum stage. That is where you have this really important hormone called progesterone increase. It's also known as the pregnancy hormone, P for pregnancy or progesterone, because this is what maintains that uterine lining really thick. And if a woman is pregnant, this is what keeps it thick and provides a home for the fertilized egg. Now, if there is no sperm in the woman's reproductive tract and that egg is not fertilized, it's just going to make its way down the oviduct and then down to the uterus. It will not embed into the lining. It's just going to continue and it's going to be released right through the vagina. So you'll notice that a lot of the hormones start to decrease right before menstruation, and the lining will then be shed. The egg is released through the vagina if she's not pregnant, and then the process happens again next month. So this is cyclical, and this is really important to reproduction. This is what controls a woman's reproductive cycle. It's mainly controlled by these hormones and these changes that those hormones affect on the ovary and the uterine lining. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, you can text me on Remind, but take a look at this video a few times before you do the questions, because it'll help answer some of those questions on Castle Learning. Okay, good luck. See you soon.